Welcome back to Myst. In the last episode, I went through the Selenitic Age, navigated an audio puzzle maze, got the red page, not in that order, but I got out of there, and about to put this last page in the red book and see what Cirrus has to say for himself.
Finally returned. I owe you a debt of gratitude, for you have nearly released me.
Nearly.
My name is Cirrus. I trust that from your explorations you've become convinced that my wicked brother Akhnar is guilty, and I am innocent. It is I who am wrongly imprisoned here
You seem pretty shady yourself, though.
by my father.
I can kind of see why Atrus couldn't tell.
Who you are, or how you came to this island, but I assume you must at least know something of the books. It was father who was a master of the books. He wrote hundreds, all describing and linking to the fantastic places and ages which he had discovered. The room in which you now stand was our father's library. It was here in this room, on this island named Myst, that he housed most of these books. But such a waste. By now, you have surely discovered that Akhnar has burnt and mutilated most of these books. Why? Our father was always watchful of our exploration. We grew up under his strict supervision. But when we came of age, he gave us unbridled access to the Myst books. He began to leave our adventures more and more unchecked. Unsupervised as we were, my brother began to become disturbed. He began to take more from the Myst ages than he had given. Soon he gained a twisted pleasure from the conquest and destruction of the other ages. It was horrific. This thirst for destruction. But alas, even I discovered his insanity too late. He had completely destroyed all of the Myst ages but 4. I wasted no time. In warning my father, I thought he would recognize Akhnar's guilt. But in a fit of rage, he imprisoned both my brother and myself within the pages of these books, designed to hold us until he could judge which of us was guilty. To discover the truth, our father embarked on one final journey. However, he has never returned. I can only assume that he perished along the way, leaving me, an innocent victim, entrapped forever. But now, you are here to release me. Listen carefully. You must find one more page and I will be forever free. There is a book on the shelves. This library, which is mostly burned but has a few pages still intact. It is the last book on the middle shelf. Find it. This book is filled with a variety of patterns. Find pattern 158 and recreate on the door of the fireplace. This will bring you to the last red page. Bring that page to me, and I will finally be released, and able to reward you, of course. Ignore the blue page. That page finishes my brother's book. It chills me to even think what would happen if you were to release him. There is another warning. Where the red and blue pages reside, also resides a green book. If you touch the green book, you also will be imprisoned forever. Our father gave us this same warning long ago. I suggest you follow his advice. Go now. Soon we will meet face to face.
Okay. So, that was a lot of information there from Cirrus. Actually, we don't have to go get the rest of the blue pages because he told... Oh, Jesus, what is... Oh no, please don't. Son of a... Ah, my virtual machine just crashed. Well... Okay.
You don't yet have the final page.
Okay. Good. Okay. That's good. That's awesome. Okay. Zoom. Okay. We're back. The, virtual machine crashed on me for a minute. Well, I mean, it totally crashed. But I got everything back. I did save, like, immediately after I, gave Sirius what turned out to be the second to last page. So, he was saying, basically that, Akinar went crazy and Sirius tried to warn Atrus about the crazy stuff that he was doing. And he said that there is one more page to each book. That's the red book and the blue book. And it is hidden in the fireplace. So, if you remember all those episodes ago, when you go into the fireplace... Oops. You have this little pattern here. But you don't know what you're supposed to do with that. In this book, Sirius said to go to page 158, which is all the way back here. Come on. There it is. This pattern will take us to a hidden chamber, wherein can be found the last page for each book, along with a curious extra book that Sirius was very adamant that we should not touch. Because if we do touch that book, we will be trapped in it, just like Sirius and Akinar are trapped in their respective books. So... I think Sirius is full of crap. And let's see what's going on with that book. He was very insistent we do not touch. I took a picture of that page in the of that book on the shelf, so that's why I'm doing this so fast. Boom. Got it. And you know, even if I do get trapped in this book, like Sirius seems to think I will, I have save files, so let's see if that's true. Oh. That's Atrus.
Who the devil are you? Don't come here to Dunny. Not yet. I have many questions for you, my friend. As you no doubt have for me. Where should I begin? Perhaps my story is in order.
Yes, that would be helpful.
My name is Atrus. I fear you've met my sons, Sirius and Akinar.
Well, I've met Sirius.
Books on Myst Island. In my library. It contains my works, my writings. I wrote many books that linked me to fantastic places. It's an art I learned from my father many years ago. But the red and blue books, those were different. I wrote those books to entrap over-greedy explorers that might stumble upon my island of Myst. But I had no idea my own sons would be entrapped. Sirius and Achenar, we had many journeys together. I gave them free rein to the books. Perhaps it was not wise. I could see the greed growing in them. I had not told them about the red and blue books. Their imaginations went wild. They dreamed of riches and power. Of course, they did not know the books were traps. They begged me for access to those books, and I, of course, denied them. Oh, they devised a plan. An evil plan. I had no idea to what extent their greed had progressed. Their own mother. They used their own mother. Oh, my dear Catherine. To lure me here to Dunny. Of course, I could return to Myst, except that they removed a single page from my Myst linking book. I cannot return without that page. You, my friend, bring that page to me. Oh, I pray you believe my story above the lies that my sons have told you. If you could find it in yourself to return that page to me here in Dunny, I could go to Myst and bring justice to my sons for what they've done. I must return to my writing. I pray that you believe me. Please hurry. Bring the page. Bring the page with you.
Sure thing, dude. So, yeah. Shocking twist. A bizarre turn of events. Turns out... Oops, how do you... Oh. Turns out both Sirius and Achenar are lying to you. And, that page that we found earlier is to Atrus's book that will let him come back here from the place where his sons trapped him. So... no.
You don't yet have the final page.
Nope. Well, I do have the final page, but not your final page. You lied to me. Oh, do I have to do it again? God. That's annoying. Good thing I didn't delete that. Okay. Two. Those two. That one. That one. These ones. And that one. Yeah. Cool. So, yeah. There's a few actual different endings to this game. There's, want to say 4? Because there's one where you complete the red book, and Sirius traps you in his place. Because the only way he can get out is if you go in, and then he'll come out. And then he'll laugh at you and be like, "Ha, you're an idiot, you trusted me," and then he starts ripping the pages out of your book and traps you like where he was. Only, it's definitely forever because he's never coming back. And Achenar does the same thing, except, you know, he's a little crazier. He kind of laughs at you, and then he starts tearing pages out, and it turns to red or blue static, and then, you know, roll credits. Game over. You lost. You're stupid. The other ending is if you go into Atrus's book without the page, and it's kind of a game over, but it's like, because you trapped yourself there with him, so you can't do anything. All you can do is click around the same few screens. And you basically... It's like a soft lock, except it's like a... I guess it's like a non-standard game over. But the good ending is you have the Myst page, you go into the book, and then you talk to Atrus. And then he comes back. What the...
Have you found the missing page?
Yes.
Come.
Alright. So this place is called Dunny. That's spelled D''Ni. And, I think Atrus and his family are, like, from this world. But it, like, collapsed. Like, the whole, like, civilization collapsed. And, like, they were the ones who came up with this whole, like, magic around the writing books that go to different places and all that. And, yeah. Atrus, Circe and Achenar basically told Atrus, hey, your wife wants to see you, she's in here. And so Atrus went after her, not knowing that she wasn't here. And, of course, earlier when Circe was talking to Achenar about taking a page out of a book, this is what they were talking about. They were talking about the plan to trap Atrus here.
Ah, my friend. You've returned. And the page? Did you bring the page?
Yep.
Ah, give it to me.
Doink. Gotta love FMV.
You've done the right thing.
I sure hope I have.
I have a difficult choice to make.
Magic. Magic book.
My sons have betrayed me.
Yeah,
I
they
know
did.
what I must do. I shall return shortly.
Yep. So, yeah, funny thing about his sons betraying him, that plot point goes into the next at least 3 games, as far as I know. I haven't played Myst 5. I played a little bit of Myst 4, and they are, the things that Circe and Achenar did kind of, like, echoed throughout the next, like, at least 3 games. But also, Atrus's father, Gen, the one who taught him how to write books and all that, he's also a little bit crazy, and a little bit of a bad person, and he's the main antagonist of Riven, which is actually the book that Atrus is writing there. He's trying to get to Riven.
I have many questions for you, my friend, but my writing cannot wait. I fear that my long delay may have already had a catastrophic impact on the world in which my wife, Catherine, is now being held hostage.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they hinted that.
Oh, and reward, I'm sorry, but all I have to offer you is the library on the island of Myst, the books that are contained there. Feel free to explore at your leisure. I hope you find your explorations satisfying. You will no longer have my sons to deal with.
Cool. So yeah, now that we've fixed Atrus's Myst book, we can go back to Myst. There's literally nothing here except some architecture. But yeah, I forgot they set up Riven a little bit, because Atrus just mentioned that Catherine is being held captive. He didn't say in Riven, but that's the book that he's working on writing. He's trying to figure out how to get to Riven, which is where his father lives, and is currently holding Catherine hostage. So let's go back to Myst real quick. And there's not really an end, like, state to this game. This is pretty much it. So you can see Atrus destroyed those 2 books. But, like I said, they're, Circe and Achenar, we haven't seen the last of them. And we haven't seen the last of the effects that their little rampage had throughout Atrus's worlds. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing we'll have to deal with. Not in Riven, but in Myst 3 it comes back to haunt him. And that's actually pretty much it. So, a lot of stuff is expanded on in Riven. I actually didn't think I'd get through this that quickly. I forgot how short this game is, like if you even half know what you're doing. But the idea of the prison books comes back, and I think they kind of retcon it a little bit in Myst 4, because in Myst 4, well, in Myst and Riven, it's kind of implied that if you go into a trap book, you're like kind of stuck in like the void, like the sort of world, like between worlds, that like all the like there's like a connection that you go from one world to another, and you like snip that connection and you get stuck between them unless somebody else tries to use the book, in which case they go in and you come out. But in Myst 4 you find another, I think it's another red and another blue book, and you go into it, and it's actually a prison world that Atrus wrote to, like he says, to trap greedy explorers. But they retconned that, so it's not like you're trapped in a void. They were actually trapped in their own prison worlds. But that's actually another plot point in Riven, is only one person can be trapped in a trap book at a time. And in Riven Atrus finishes writing his book, and he sends you into Riven to find Catherine and try to deal with Atrus's father, who's gone a little bit psycho. You can kind of see where Cirrus and Akinar got their appetite for conquest and, all that from. Because we saw in Channel 1 in particular, Akinar was kind of setting himself up as like a god. He's like, yeah, I have this technology, this magic, and you will worship me and all that stuff. Gen takes that to an extreme in Riven. So, yeah, there's not much else to do here, really. I could go and read through all these books. I can go back to any of the ages that I went to before. Like Atrus says, you can explore. But in tracking down the pages, there's really not anything else to do. So there's no game over. There's no, like you see the credits when you exit the game. So I guess this is it. Yeah, I thought to get to the information about the fireplace, you had to complete both books, and then one of them would tell you where to find the last pages. But I misunderstood that, and turns out you only need to almost finish one book, and then whoever you're helping will tell you where to get it. So I guess this has been Myst. I had fun relearning how everything works, because I forgot 90% of it, turns out. But even having forgotten so much, it's not a very long game. I mean, I peeked at a guide a couple times because I was totally stuck. There's a couple of a little bit of obtuse logic for finding your way, but I'm pretty sure I solved all the puzzles without needing the guide to explicitly tell me the answers. So that was fun. I mean, I looked up the answers to the selenitic thing here because I was 99.9% sure I was doing it right. And it was just being picky about where I put the sliders, and it didn't have the power set right. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna try and see if I can record Riven without having to go through all this crap about the virtual machine and Windows XP and all that. It's a newer game. It's a little more, a little easier to work with as far as I know. If I can get the Steam version recordable, it'll be a lot easier to deal with because Riven originally came with 5 CDs, and it wasn't like you play a certain point in the game and then you add the next CD. Certain areas of the game are on certain CDs, so you could do pretty much an entire section of the game, and then it'll be like, put in disc 3 because he went to this area, put in disc 5 because he went to this area, and it's a little bit kind of an open world, sort of. But the Steam release, it's all downloaded and installed onto the computer, so you don't have to switch CDs like ever. And that would be a lot more helpful if I can get that version running. If I do have to run it in a virtual machine, I do have the full CD set. So if I have to do it that way, I can. I'd rather not, but we'll see when I try to play Riven. I'll do some test recordings shortly after I finish up here, because I'm just wandering around talking. So let me find something good to fade out on. How about... Whoops. Nope. Yeah, how about we just fade out at the... Actually, you know what? For a game about books, how about... Whoops. Why don't we bookend this? End it right where it began. On the docks. But slightly different. The ship is up out of the water. The gear is open. And... yeah. Thanks for watching. This has been Myst. See you next time in Riven.